Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday. I hope you are enjoying the time we are spending together here. It's truly precious and fortunate, right? I really appreciate your effort and your support of the Buddha Dharma. So I want to say thank you again. Now, it's a good time to reflect on the benefit of this retreat and how to continue making the teaching a natural part of your everyday life and constantly studying, meditating, continuously learn about the Buddha Dharma, doing more short retreats, being part of supportive community or Sangha members, and creating supportive environment. These methods will help you to improve your practice. Buddha Shakyamuni established teachings, and he created a Buddhist community called Sangha. After he passed away, his Sangha continued to keep the Dharma teachings and live together as a community and benefit others. So all of us, old students and new students, need to make as much effort as we can to practice and benefit others. We have a great opportunity to practice Dharma. So remembering Buddha's kindness is a deeply meaningful part of Buddhist practice. The Buddha discovered this great path through undergoing such hardship within 6 years, and then he taught the Dharma for 45 years and shared the path to liberation that benefit us. So we need to repay his kindness through our practice, cultivating wisdom, generating bodhicitta, benefiting others. That's how we repay Buddha Shakyamuni's kindness. Also offering your practice, offering your daily activities, remembering his kindness all the time, and supporting the Sangha who carries on the Buddhist teachings. So important. Sometimes I wonder why do we engage with so many different kinds of deities, both peaceful and wrathful, instead of only practicing with Buddha Shakyamuni. We usually think that different people need different methods, different protectors, whatever you call it, deities. It's like a doctor who uses different medicines for different sort of illnesses, right? That's why people need different methods, different practices, different deities. But ultimately, all deities are manifestation of the Buddha and expression of the enlightened mind. And they're not separate from Bodhisattva. You always need to remember that. You can practice Brahmasambhava, you can practice, Bhajar Kalaya, you can practice all these peaceful, wrathful deities, but very important to understand and remember that all they are not separate from Buddha Shakyamuni, and remember all these deities are manifestation of Buddha Shakyamuni. Then you can practice all different kinds. But this is so important because we have this Buddha Dharma. Basically, Buddha Shakyamuni, he found this path and give us really great instructions and Dharma teachings. So it's just without him, there's no way we can go through this path, right? So Buddha provides different methods to guide all beings according to their needs. So if you know who the Buddha is and have a strong connection to or with him, Buddha Shakyamuni, then he is everything, you know. So as a Buddhist practitioner, it's very important to practice Buddha Shakyamuni every day. And that's why we have this Tejiro Blessings practice of Buddha Shakyamuni. I hope you all do that every day, as your main practice. And remember his kindness. He is the, source of all the teachings we have today. So the Buddha represents fearless compassion and limitless wisdom. His life and realizations are the example we follow on the path to enlightenment, awakening. So reflecting on his life helps us keep going when the path feels difficult, So you have to remember when you have, difficult situations, how Buddha handled all these situations, and he found this path. So practicing him and thinking about him is not only important, but it's a way to stay fundamentally grounded in the heart of the Dharma. So I just, of course, this, no matter what, you practice different kinds of deities and receive different kinds of teachings and empowerments or whatever. Everything comes from Buddha. We have to really deeply understand that, and deeply we have to appreciate and remember his kindness. I just want to let you know that you don't need empowerment and secret sort of initiations or advanced instructions to practice him, right? You just need to practice the treasury of blessings, a practice of Buddha Shakyamuni by Maha Rinpoche. It's a very common practice these days. Everybody, this Tibet, we have four traditions, Geluk, Karja, Sarti. They all, doesn't matter. Maha Rinpoche belong to the Nyingma tradition, but he respect all. So therefore, these days, everyone practice this common Buddha Shakyamuni's, you can say, his Guru Yoga or Tejiro blessings. So at least every day, nothing else if you don't have time to practice, but just remember, without Buddha, we don't have all this amazing, profound, and vast teaching today. We don't have that. So that's because of him. So there's reason we have to remember his kindness and make offerings to him, study his teachings and meditate on bodhicitta with mindfulness, help others as much as you can. That's all we need, because Buddha, in the sutras, many times he say, if you want to repay my kindness, you have to practice bodhicitta and wisdom. So that's his, wishes, and so we should, as a Buddhist practitioner, follow Buddha. We should do that every single day. It's not that difficult. In order to practice the treasury blessings or practice Buddha Shakyamuni, you don't need anything. You don't need empowerment. You don't need nothing. Just I give you the written transmission. So just do that every single day and remember his kindness. That helps your bodhicitta grow and helps you really want to practice more and more Buddha Shakyamuni's, teachings. Just let you know that. Now I'm going to pick up where I left off last class. Today we start with the 31st verse. It says, Rangi Trava, Rangi Maptakna Chupi Zukji, Chumin Shetipi, Tepshir Gender, Rangan Travala, Tagni Ponga, Jasilang. If you do not examine your mistakes, you may look like a practitioner, but not act as one. Thus, always examine your mistakes, and abandoning them is practice of bodhisattva. This is so important verse, right? This verse, highlights the importance of self-reflection and part of bodhisattva, right? Part of bodhisattva. Bodhisattvas always, investigate themselves and their actions and their motivations and all that. So this verse, it says, you may look like a practitioner, but not act as one. It's really true, we all think we are Buddhist and we're practitioners, but maybe, but maybe not. So we have to sort of self-reflection is if you take this journey, this bodhisattva's path, this is very important. True practice comes from inner transformation and inner experiences, right? Which requires continuous self-examination in Mahāyāna Buddhism. If we don't reflect on mistakes, it says, like we may appear to be a practitioner, but will not have the good qualities of true bodhisattvas. If we look carefully, our actions may not be quite as genuine as they appear to others. Therefore, it is very important to check our motivation, whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think, right? If you read the Buddha's sutras, his teachings, like the way he talks, he just talks very mindfully. The way he walks, very mindfully. We're just so fast without thinking, talk, blah, blah, blah. And then, even though we don't have really bad motivations, but sometimes we're not aware of what we are talking, then sometimes hurt others. So, uh, so if we don't investigate our motivation is really important if you practice bodhicitta. So then your motivation is good, then everything will be positive. That's for sure. So therefore, it is very important to check your motivation. Whatever you think, whatever you say. So this sort of ongoing process of self-reflection and correction is essential for progressing on the Mahāyāna Buddhist path. So we have good intentions, but from time to time, we may lose it, right? So therefore, this verse suggests we should always examine our practice as a bodhisattva taking bodhisattva path. So generally speaking, our practice is somewhat mixed with certain amount of dharma and certain amount of non-dharma. So it's necessary that we take responsibility for our own mistakes and work with them through, examination. Great Master Atisha said, "Do not find the fault with others, find the faults in yourself and remove them or change them." It's very important for Mahayana practitioners. As Gamboba said, to hold profound instructions but not transform yourself is a hidden fault of practitioners. So by examining your thoughts, words, and actions, you can recognize, harmful habits. If we don't go through this constant check-in process, then it is possible to act in a non-spiritual way. So, true practitioners don't ignore their faults, but always try to work on them. The bodhisattvas always look into themselves instead of looking at others. So this verse is a sort of a warning to all practitioners who lack mindfulness, who are sort of proud about their so-called Mahayana practice. And such people may, outwardly appear as genuine practitioners, yet inwardly they are filled with harmful intent. So we can see that these days, everywhere. So Shantadewa strongly advised that we should always put effort to recognize our faults rather than focus on the faults of others. So if we practice Mahāyāna Buddhism, we must live a life of virtue and avoid harming others, bring happiness to others, and take care of others with respect, with kindness. That's Mahayana practitioners' responsibility, work, job. So we have to remind ourselves to be more mindful. So important. Mindfulness is now I can see more and more every day how important. Be mindful. Whatever you do, say, think, and try our best not to harm anyone with actions of our body, speech, and mind, right? As a mind. Always we have to remember I'm a Mahayana Buddhist practitioner, so that I need to investigate myself other than, my teachers always said that, thinking I am a Dharma practitioner doesn't make us one. Just thinking I took refuge vows and I received this and that teachings and I practice regularly. So I'm a practitioner, maybe true, maybe not. So you only, you are genuine Dharma practitioner or not. So just insight, insight. Nobody knows, just you. So taking the Bodhisattva vow or, tantric initiation also does not mean we are Dharma practitioner. It does not mean at all our mind has been transformed. Dharma practitioners subdue the disturbing emotions and negative actions. So we can, look like a great teacher. That's not difficult to do. It's just a superficial uh, external appearance, right? If someone, for example, a teacher, who sits on beautiful, high throne, it does not mean at all that person is a good teacher or, um, we have this Tibetan, we have Turk, if there is a jealousy, competition, and they want to be, respected and feel that they are special. It's unfortunately, it's superficial. So um, in essence, this verse teaches that genuine practice involves honesty with ourselves, recognizing mistakes through examination and then removing them. If you see something is wrong, then you have to change it. That is practice of Bodhisattvas. It says, Ngulchu Thokmé, not me. Ngulchu Thokmé said, that's right. So, yeah, just remember this verse, if you do not examine your mistakes, you may look like a practitioner, but not act as one. Thus, always examining your mistakes, abandon them, is the practice of Bodhisattva. It's I love this verse. Okay, that's important. Now the next 32, 32nd verse is Nyumowangi Jati Yandaki Nipa Lana Dagni Nyamjavi Tapachela should be Konzaki Nipa Mamna Jasi Langin. It says, under the influence of delusive emotions, if you speak of the faults of other bodhisattvas, you yourself will be diminished. Thus, not mentioning the faults of those who have entered the Mahāyāna path is the practice of bodhisattva. This verse deals with criticism, right? Others on the Mahāyāna path, especially when motivated by negative emotions like jealousy, arrogance, selfishness, or anger. So, speaking negatively about other bodhisattvas creates negative actions. Atisha said, if you displace a noble being, which is bodhisattvas, right? He said it is like a death, you know. So what we perceive as faults in others is probably from our own delusion. Maybe this person is sort of how to say hidden bodhisattva. We don't really know. We don't really know. Tibetans say that we would never know where bodhisattvas and thieves are. So these days, Dharma practitioners are everywhere. Good thing. So we, as Mahayana practitioners, should not be criticizing anyone. It will destroy our own faith and realization, bodhicitta, and we are the ones who lose. So that's why we never know where bodhisattvas are. It's when we speak about the faults of others, the anger in our mind will diminish our bodhicitta, especially when it comes to bodhisattvas from the Mahayana tradition. Their action, their behavior is not easy to understand. Like think about what Marba, do you know Marba, right? Marba did to Milarepa. It's not easy to understand. Marba's motivation at that time it's not easy to understand. His motive, at that time, like how, Marba made Milarepa suffer a lot. You can't really imagine, but we don't know what Marba's motivation. So therefore, we should make a vow not to use divisive talk to criticize others. So before speaking about someone's faults, my teachers always say, ask yourself, is this true? Am I saying this from my wisdom or my ego under the control of anger? is this beneficial or not? If it's not coming from a pure intention, my teachers say it's best to remain silent, because pausing before speaking allows us to reconsider whether our words are necessary. Silence can be a very powerful practice in itself and helps to break the anger of speaking. So bodhisattvas use the faults they see in others as mirrors, for self-reflection. So there may be situations where addressing someone's faults seems necessary to prevent harm or help someone correct a misunderstanding. In such cases, a bodhisattva must act skillfully and act with respect. So usually, whenever we talk about something, we start to criticize someone else. And by focusing on criticizing others based on negative emotions, which lead to misjudgment. So this verse explained in the context of Mahāyāna practice, but it is equally true for non-practitioners. So in all cases, it's good to avoid looking for faults of others and not speak about what we think we have found. So always Mahāyāna practitioners think about ourselves, right? So that's the key, and so that you will never lose your bodhicitta. Now the next 33rd. Nikerwangi pansan tsojirshang tusum gombi xewa nyamjir vi nzabhi chemdang jimdaga chemnam la chakpa pongwa jasi laglin. It says, desire for gain and honor leads to arguments, right? And the decline of the activities of listening, contemplating, and meditating. Thus, giving up attachment to the households of friends, relations, and benefactors is the practice of bodhisattvas. This verse deals with dangers of attachment to worldly gain, honor, and relationships, and emphasizing how they can, obstruct genuine spiritual practice. So give up attachment to people who helps us, because this attachment does not particularly come from the qualities of the person, but from our hope for, wealth, respect, or honor. So when we become extremely attached to this kind of situations, this lead to two problems: conflict and the declining of our practice. So this attachment binds us to worldly concerns and distract us from our Dharma practice. And we have less interest in this essential practice. If if I'm strongly attached to my reputation and my position, and then someone is disrespectful, it upset me, right? Then I will never be able to have a peaceful mind. If I have that kind of strong emotion or attachment, I would be upset if someone has a better reputation than me. Then there is a competition comes, right? That means I'm attached to my position and worldly concerns. Then always I'll be upset. I don't have peaceful mind then, right? So it says here, give up attachment to the households of family, friends, and sponsors. This does not mean we should simply give up all relationships, right? Rather, it means we should give up attachment and relationships that could lead non-dharma activities. So attachment here refers to clinging to relationships for personal benefit and using others for our own ego benefit. Sometimes people act very like holy, right? When they are, what do you call it, benefactors are around. They are, they are good, good at these things, and they put them in a position where they cannot say no. It can certainly happen, right? So this behavior can be a subtle form of manipulation. So from a spiritual perspective, this behavior is a kind of hypocrisy or ego cleaning. So therefore, Ngulchu Thokmé himself said, another his teaching, he said, like, to feel satisfied with whatever you have, that is the ultimate wealth, and not to be attached to anything at all. That is the ultimate happiness. Bodhisattvas like Ngulchu Thokmé, live a life giving unconditional love and kindness to all. Yet they do so with non-attachment. So non-attachment in Mahāyāna Buddhism does not mean abandoning. It simply means not having a grasping or clinging attitude towards anything or anyone. It means living with contentment, benefiting all beings equally. So this verse advises renouncing attachment so that our practice remains pure. Right? Okay. Now, we're going to stop here.